Welcome to the 7th episode of the J&J podcast. My name is John Madigan.
And I'm Joe Vassallo.
We are here today for our 7th episode, and we have loads to talk about. It is a Monday night at 10:41 p.m. Joseph, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I can't complain. This is a later night episode. We're doing this episode a little later than we usually do, recording-wise. But yeah, it's going good. Today was a long day for me. I had work and then school, so this is the first time I've been home since about 8 a.m. So actually earlier than that.
On my winter break, so I haven't had school yesterday, today, the day before yesterday, and the day before that.
Oh wow, dude, that's great, man. I don't think we have a winter break. I don't think we have that, unfortunately. I wish we did, though.
This substitutes for our spring break, so we don't have spring break, but we have winter break.
Oh, okay. So you don't get a spring break?
No.
Oh man, that sucks. Okay, because I was really hoping that maybe me and you could set something up and hang out during spring break.
Yeah, I invited you on. They have a get together at my school where you'd be able to stay at my school for free for a couple of days. I invited you, but you didn't want to go for it.
Well, I know, but Joe, I would get kicked out. Is what I'm saying. I would get kicked out of your school in a heartbeat.
It's a fair statement.
But Joe, so what did you have for lunch today?
I had nachos.
You had nachos for lunch? Like that's like a meal?
It wasn't what you think. See, I thought the same thing. I thought this was going to be a lame lunch, but it actually turned out to be really good. It was nachos, and instead of just cheese, it had beef, rice, beans, and cheese all on top of it.
And where'd you get that from?
My mom made it. It's really good.
Oh my god! Shout out to Joe's mom.
Yeah.
Oh man, but Joe, I had a chicken sandwich today, from a local deli. I know. But Joe, when you come down, don't worry. We're gonna have chicken sandwiches together all the time.
I hope so.
Oh, Joe, I wanted to talk to you. Do you remember on a previous episode of the podcast you had said something like you're not allowed to watch The Simpsons?
Yes, I do. I remember that.
Now, can you tell me why you're not allowed to watch The Simpsons?
So just a lot of the the irreverent humor towards the Lord. I've seen too many episodes that mock the Lord for me to be comfortable watching it.
So what would it take for you to feel comfortable watching The Simpsons again? Because I feel like you did genuinely enjoy the show.
I really did enjoy the show. It would take I would need to see a Christianization of the show. They would have to clean it up a little bit.
So, in the news today, the Vatican praised The Simpsons.
Now, John, I haven't been Catholic for a long time.
Joe, but this is a higher up, very close to God, like yourself, praising The Simpsons, claiming that Homer Simpson and son Bart are Catholics who raise questions concerning the Christian faith. Few people know it, and he does everything to hide it, but it's true. Homer J. Simpson is a Catholic, and the Pope praised it. So the Pope praised The Simpsons, and in my opinion, I feel like that's a pretty damn okay reason why you can watch The Simpsons.
I mean, John, if I was Catholic again and I believed in the Pope, then I would maybe go for it. But I'm not Catholic. Not anymore, at least. I used to be once upon a time.
But don't you think that it is a higher up, closer to the same God that you believe in? Saying it's he doesn't strictly say it's okay to watch The Simpsons, but I don't think he would praise The Simpsons if that's not what he meant.
Right. And what you have to understand is it's a personal thing. So I'm not saying that The Simpsons is evil for everybody, and if you watch The Simpsons, you're evil. Jeff, he loves The Simpsons.
Oh, really? Does he actively watch it?
He'll sit down. We used to sit down and watch it.
Does he still watch it though?
When it comes on, he won't record it or anything, but if he happens to see it on, he'll watch it.
Okay, but so he still watches it today, is what I'm asking.
Yeah.
And I met Jeff, twice now, and he's, actually, more than that. He's a great guy, and as I'm sure you believe in, he is, very close to the Lord himself.
Yeah,
So,
and so what it boils down to is just it depends on the person. So it's not sin for everybody, but it's sin for me.
so you're still not okay watching The Simpsons, even though the Vatican said, "Hey, The Simpsons is fine."
Sorry, man.
Are you tired?
I'm
Are you yawning on this podcast?
sorry. I am yawning on this podcast.
Are you Why would you be yawning on this podcast, Joseph?
Well, John, you're pretty boring. I'm the one who carries the show. We all know it.
Oh. Okay. Well, you know who pays for the freaking hosting every month? Me. So, shut up. Stop your yawning and do this show. I'll find another J. Damn it.
Oh yeah, like who?
Like someone.
Exactly.
But still, don't be yawning on our fans. Even if it's not for me, it's for our fans. Our one person, our one fan. No, I'm not kidding. Our podcast has gotten over 260 downloads, I want to say.
Nice.
Which is kind of crazy to think about, that 260 individual downloads we've already had. This is our 7th episode recording, so the previous 6 in total have gotten over 260 downloads. That's insane.
That is insane.
And behind the scenes, we're actively working and reaching out to different people to help expand our show. And we don't know what's going to come to fruition. Who knows? Maybe none of it will come to fruition. But we definitely are working on stuff in the background to expand this show to a much wider audience. We want to do anything and everything we possibly can to bring this show to as many people as we can, because we enjoy doing it and we want people to see it.
Absolutely. Tell your friends.
Yes, tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody you know, tell your mother, tell your grandmother, everyone, because they want to listen to the J&J podcast.
Tell your little poodle dog. We know you have them. Everyone has a little poodle dog.
I don't have a poodle dog.
You're nobody, John.
I wish I had a dog. I would love a dog. I love dogs. I am drinking Diet Orange Soda. I needed a drink. What can I say? But Joe, today, as for like a main discussion between the two of us, I want to brush back on a topic we discussed in our 2nd episode. Really, our first full long episode, our first real episode was just an introductions between the two of ourselves. But the 2nd episode total, but the first real episode of discussion, we talked about the Academy Awards, the Oscars, which just aired last night from the timing of this recording. And Joe, do you have a chance to watch the Oscars?
Look, John, you want me to be honest with you? I did not watch the Oscars. If it wasn't for you and people like you who posted on Facebook, I wouldn't even know what the Oscars were.
Fair enough, and that's fine. That's the type of person you are. I actually did not see the Oscars either. I saw clips from it. I love Chris Rock. I'm so happy that Chris Rock was hosting the show. Joe, do you know who Chris Rock is?
Sounds vaguely familiar.
I mean, he's a really big famous comedian. Some would argue probably one of the biggest comedian of this generation. I mean, he is really, really, really funny, really smart. And he happens to be African American, which comes back to the topic of the Academy Awards being racist, which they are not. But first, I want to talk about something major happened at the Oscars last night. Something that's never happened before, and frankly, I don't know if it's ever going to happen again.
Yes?
But spoiler alert! You can take a guess.
Okay, so you're saying it never happened before, and it might never happen again.
Might not happen again.
Did you get a girl's number?
No, Joe. No. What did happen, though, is, spoiler alert, Leonardo DiCaprio won his first Oscar for Best Actor in a movie for the movie The Revenant, which I was not crazy about. I was not crazy about this movie.
From the commercials, I wasn't crazy about it. But Leonardo as a DiCaprio as an actor, I think it's long overdue.
Oh, totally. First of all, people don't even realize he didn't even get nominated for Titanic. I mean, the Oscars have shunned him forever, and he's gotten nominated several times. The fact that he's never won an Oscar though is insane, and I can't believe it. I can't. But I'm so happy to hear that he finally won. Thank God. I mean, honestly, I would say it's been long overdue. Yeah. I mean, wouldn't you say that too?
Yeah, I'm a little sad though of all those really cool memes that'll go down now. That can no longer be applicable because of it.
That's right. Yeah, there were a lot of memes going on about Leonardo DiCaprio never winning an Oscar, and rightfully so, because everyone just knew he deserved it so much.
We're talking about years ago, man.
Joe, do you have a favorite Leonardo DiCaprio movie?
I do, but you can't judge me for it.
Which
Romeo
one?
and Juliet.
Okay, I admit I haven't seen that one. I've seen clips from the movie. I basically saw the movie in school. They cut out some things, but I saw the movie in school, and he did great. He does great in every role he does. Honestly, I mean, he is just one of the more talented actors out there.
I'm not sure I've ever seen a movie with him in it that at the end of it I was like, wow, he did a really bad job acting.
I think he did incredible in The Wolf of Wall Street, which I know you didn't see because it's basically a porno. But it's a porno. It's a porno with really good acting in it. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend The Wolf of Wall Street. Honestly,
I highly recommend you don't go see it.
It was a great movie, and it was nominated for Best Picture and for Leonardo DiCaprio for Best Actor. And unfortunately, he didn't win, but thankfully he won as The Revenant, and I'm so happy for him. It's been long overdue. But the other problem going on at the Oscars was the whole racism issue, which we're gonna talk about right now. Now, for a while now, it's been black people who have been feeling, because apparently no black people got nominated for this year's Oscars, which I'm not entirely shocked about, to be honest. I mean, I'm sorry. Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith is going nuts that Will Smith didn't get nominated for Concussion. I'm sorry. I saw the trailer for Concussion. It didn't look good. I mean,
that doesn't mean that Will Smith doesn't deserve the award. It just means not this year. He just wasn't in anything good this year. He's a phenomenal actor.
But realize Will Smith has gotten tons of Oscars. It's not like no black person has ever won an Oscar. It's not like that. If that was the issue and it's been 88 years, I've been like, okay, clearly something's going on. We have 1 year now where not a black person was nominated. I'm sorry, it was bound to happen. I mean, personally, I thought Straight Outta Compton was great, and that's considered as a black film. Some call it a hood film, and I thought it was a great movie. I was really entertained by it, and I was thinking it would be nominated at least for Best Picture. But it didn't get nominated for anything other than screenplay, which happened to be written by two white people. I don't think that's such a bad thing, though. Like, okay, my opinion differs from members of the Academy, which is fine. And since the taping of this recording, the Academy has responded back and said that they will try to add more of a diverse people who are voting on the films. They're going to add more black people. To which Jada Pinkett Smith said, no, that's still racist because you're assuming that black people are automatically going to vote black.
So basically, being racist because she's saying just because somebody is black, they should automatically be nominated.
Exactly. These people are just saying that they just feel like that the black people should just be nominated just for the sake of, you need black people to be nominated, regardless if their films are good or not, which I think is friggin' nuts.
It is.
It's like
crazy. It's also the society we live in.
We need to make more black roles. Here's the problem. If you pretend we take all the names of the actors in the world, 90% of them are going to be white actors. So let's just say we took a handful randomly. You're going to get bound to get all white actors because there's more white actors out there than there are black actors, or this is the new issue, Asian actors. Asian people are flipping out on Twitter today because, which I don't know why they're flipping out after the Oscars. They weren't flipping out beforehand, but now there's a whole big movement against the Oscars for Asian people now, because they're claiming, hey, they were like, we haven't been nominated for any other.
John, buddy, it's not cool. That's not cool. You're going too far. We gotta have to scrub that. Say that over in a normal voice.
Okay. Asian people have been saying like they haven't been, that they haven't been nominated for an award, and I'm sorry, there just isn't that many Asian actors out there. I mean,
now I don't know much about these awards, right? I just don't, right? So bear with me here. But what about Bruce Lee? Did he ever get an Oscar?
I don't know off the top of my head.
What about Jackie Chan? What about the guy from Hangover? What about the guy who played in the Green Hornet?
I mean, I don't know if they ever got, an Oscar. Did Bruce Lee get an Oscar? But regardless, there was one. Just off the top here, I don't want to waste time just looking. I'm not seeing an Oscar win here, but I am seeing that he does have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which I think is still very prestigious to have. Not many actors and actresses have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Hey.
That's great. Great. Congratulations to Bruce Lee, for making his films. And Asian people are flipping out, saying that they are not being nominated. And like, I'm sorry, what are you guys making? The last Asian role I remember seeing was freaking Kim Jong-un in The Interview. There just isn't.
It was Rush Hour or Jackie Chan.
No, I think in the middle of that there was oh god, I think his name is, I don't remember his name, but Dr. Ken in The Hangover. He was
now.
Right. That was
here's the big problem, though, John. Right, the big problem is we can't be insensitive to people who are feeling like they're being cheaped out of something, right?
But nobody's being cheated out. There just isn't that many Asian actors out there. There isn't that many roles for Asian people or for black people. Like, I'm sorry. I think
that's the problem, right? So I don't think that we should force black actors to be nominated. I think we need more black and Asian actors. Give them equal opportunity.
And that's fine, as long as they're not being hired just for the sake of being Asian or just for the sake of being black. Right. Because I don't believe white people are being hired just for the sake of being white. Right. And I kind of feel like that's what bothers me about shows like Fresh Off the Boat. Have you seen Fresh Off the Boat? Which is literally just it's like a sitcom show without like a live studio audience. And it's literally there for the sole purpose of that Asians wanted a TV show. So it's just a very stereotypical Asian show, and it's just there for the Asian people, which I don't get. I don't, and I'm not, I just kind of feel like it's there simply for the race and not just for the fact of, oh, here's a bunch of talented actors and we put them together. I don't.
It's like we're white males, as a whole, we're not very low. You know what I mean, on the oppression chain, right?
We're white males, so apparently we have some sort of we have white privilege apparently. So apparently we don't know what the hell we're talking about. But
what you have to understand is, okay, I don't know what it was like in your high school, right? But in my high school, right, we're taught about in Black History Month, right, is that white people oppressed black people, right? So of course black people are going to feel oppressed. But no one ever talks about the fact that there were African kings who sold African slaves. No one ever talks about the white people who helped white people who helped black people to freedom.
No, Joe, I also think it's important to note that you went to a predominantly black school, right?
98%.
There you go. You know that's predominantly black.
Right.
Which there's nothing wrong with that. It just happens to be. Am I calling out your high school for being racist for having more black people than white people? No, not at all. And I don't think you are either. It's just kind of the way it happened.
I mean, I remember
You know,
once. I
that's
remember once this girl comes up to me and she's like, "I hate you," and I was like, "What did I ever do to you?" She was like, "Your white ancestors oppressed my black ancestors and hung them." I was like, "Really?" Because while your black ancestors were being lynched, my white ancestors were getting put in concentration camps in Europe. like we were
exactly.
equally oppressed.
Exactly, and that's the problem. For some reason, black people feel entitled when they really shouldn't feel entitled. But yeah, so like I was saying before, you have a show out there like Fresh Off the Boat, which is simply there for Asian people. It was made to satisfy Asian people who are looking for a show about them. And I don't know. Like, you have plenty of sitcoms out there like The King of Queens and Everybody Loves Raymond that, features a white family. And I've never felt that need to like relate to these people simply because they're white. And I kind of feel like the argument is always like, oh, well, we need something to relate to. We can't relate to any of these shows because of their race. I don't think the race is really ever featured or mentioned. I don't think it's I don't think it's a thing. I think people are looking for a reason to get mad. There's also another show called Blackish, which I actually haven't seen, and I've actually heard very positive things about. I've heard much more positive
that's the problem, though, right? Blackish, right? What it's doing is it's separating people, right? So it's separating races, right? Why can't we have a TV show called The Human Race, right? Maybe it's because we're from New York City and there's a lot of diversity in New York City.
Right.
I don't discriminate. I don't care what color your skin is. If you're going to sit down and be fat with me and eat pizza, I'm okay with you.
Exactly. There you go. Same thing with me. If you're nice to me, I'm nice to you back. But then you have a show called Blackish, which I heard is actually really good. I haven't watched it, but I've heard much more positive things about Blackish than I heard about Fresh Off the Boat. But once again, it's also there just to kind of fulfill the black requirement. The black people need a show that's, for them. There's like, I'll give you a perfect example. There's a show on right now called, I think it's called American Crime Story, The People versus O.J. Simpson, which is a great show that has a black lead. Now, sure, this is a bio TV series that talks about the whole crime with O.J. Simpson, which he allegedly murdered Anna Nicole Smith. No, not Anna Nicole Smith. That was wrong. God, who did Joe? Do you know offhand?
Mrs. Simpson. It was his wife.
It was O.J. Simpson. Allegedly murdered. It wasn't Anna Nicole Smith.
Wait, John.
Nicole Brown.
Allegedly, quote unquote.
Well, we say allegedly because he did come out. He did come out not guilty at the end of the trial.
2 weeks later, he wrote a book saying, "If I had done it."
If I did it, this is how I would do it. You idiot.
Yeah, you can't get charged twice with it,
Right. But I couldn't believe that had a lot of uproar. If I did it, this is how I'd do it, you idiots. Which I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe when that happened. But that's a show starring a lead black actor, which I think it's a great show. I'm hooked on it. And it's just telling about someone's life. And I feel like that also fulfills like the black requirement, it has a black lead in it. And it's also a very good story that doesn't fall within the race. It's not about the race. It's about a crime story that happens to be about a black person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a difference between having
like, I would like to hear an accurate history lesson in a school, which is what really happened was the oppression of black slaves was done by African kings and rulers and white people. Like, no one's denying that some of our ancestors were jerks, but it wasn't all our ancestors.
Right. I agree. But that's just the point I'm just trying to put a point here. Shows like Blackish are there simply for the race. And then there's, the People versus O.J. Simpson, which is a great story that doesn't feed off the race. It feeds off a good plot, a good story, and that's what we need more of. We need more of focusing on writing and producing and directing rather than, oh crap, what's gonna make a good race? What's gonna make what's gonna make the black people happy? We need less of that. We just need good storylines. Do you agree, Joe?
I do agree. I absolutely agree.
But am I coming off harsh?
A little bit, John. You're coming off a little insensitive, right? What we really have to look at is we shouldn't be looking at Hollywood. We should be looking at our school systems, right? Because what do you learn about in Black History Month?
Well, by the way, just want to let everyone know. By the way, Joe, happy leap year.
Oh yeah, happy leap year. I forgot about that. Tomorrow's the 1st, isn't it?
Tomorrow's the 1st, which means today is the last day of Black History Month. We can finally go back to regular history. I'm really excited about that.
But what do you honestly, John? What do you hear about in Black History Month?
You try to hear about all the positive things that Black people did and why we need this month. Which, by the way, guys, it's a short.
John, I want to just cut you off there for a second, okay? That's not what I was taught in high school, right? Like I said, what I was taught is how the Ku Klux Klan lynched people and how the black people have been oppressed and all of this stuff, right? And we never heard about how peanut butter, right, or about how certain cell phones, and how other things came from black inventors.
And what I meant by positive things Black people did, I meant the whole Rosa Parks thing where she sat on the bus.
Right. And those are the types of heroes, right? We should be celebrating in Black History Month. I'm all for Black History Month, and I wish we could have an Asian History Month and a Jewish History Month, right? And
a White History Month,
or maybe not White History Month. How about an Italian History Month, an Irish History Month, right? Let's spread it out. Let's make it culturally diverse.
Now, Joe, do you know who doesn't want a Black History Month?
Who?
Can you take a guess? Big famous actor.
Morgan Freeman?
Yes! Did you hear about this?
I did hear about it. See, I'm not totally lost after all.
There you go. Did you read the conversation, though?
No.
Between Morgan Freeman and so the interviewer says Black History Month you find, and Morgan Freeman says ridiculous, and the interviewer says why, and Morgan Freeman says you're gonna regulate my history to a month, and the interviewer says oh come on, and Morgan Freeman says what do you do with yours, what month is White History Month, and the interviewer pauses for a second. He's like, well, I'm Jewish, and Morgan Freeman says okay, which month is Jewish History Month? And the interviewer says, there isn't one. Morgan Freeman said, oh, okay, well, why not? Do you want one? And the interviewer says, well, no. And Morgan Freeman says, right, I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history. So the interviewer says, how are we going to get rid of racism? And Morgan Freeman says, stop talking about it.
Right.
That is quote unquote.
Right. And I really gotta say, and I'm not racist, and I don't think you're racist either, John.
I'm really not. I hate. It's all about entitlement. This whole thing goes down to entitlement, and I kind of feel like there's a wide group of predominantly African Americans who are feeling entitled to something that they're really not, and that's where the problem is for me.
Right, and I think the biggest problem for me is that if you look biblically, okay, I'm going to bring some Bible into this. If you look biblically, right, we all came from one person. We all came from Adam, right?
Okay.
And so when we separate ourselves by race, whether that's Black History Month or Asian History Month or White History Month, right, when we start separating ourselves from each other, right? When we look across the sea, if you will, and we say this person is fundamentally different than we are, right? We're marring, right? We're destroying the original picture God had for us as people, right? God created you white. He created this person black, and he created this person Asian, and he created us to fellowship with him, right? And that's not just for those three particular races. No matter what color your skin is, right? If you're a human being, you were created by God to fellowship with each other and to fellowship with him.
Right.
And so when we start putting labels, right? So if I look at you and I see white, right, just because of your skin color, or I look at this person and I see black, or I look, right, and we disguise it as culture, right? When Jesus says in the gospel, lay down everything for my sake, right? So we have to lay down our culture. Essentially, we have to stop being, if you will, stop being Italian, right? For the sake of
Yeah.
the gospel. Stop being black for the sake of the gospel. Stop being white for the sake of the gospel. Stop being Asian for the sake of the gospel, and start being like Christ.
Right. You know, people need to stop feeling entitled. People just need to be themselves. And if everyone was more or less themselves, we wouldn't have any of this in the world. And that's just kind of the message we're trying to get across here.
Right.
Honestly. But honestly, it needs to stop, because honestly, it's just so annoying. It's ridiculous.
I
And
remember, did I tell you what happened in my old neighborhood?
what?
So so it was when Trayvon Martin, his killer, was declared innocent, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I walked in. I lived in a predominantly black neighborhood, and there was a Rite Aid, and I walked into the Rite Aid, and this guy cuts me in line, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you can't cut me in line, right? And he's like, what are you gonna do, white boy? Shoot me, or yeah, shoot me the way they shot Trayvon? And I'm like, dude, like, come on, man. Like, we're all human beings, right?
Yeah.
Right? It's not good for any of us to be separated by race. The only thing that separates me from anybody else is the blood of Jesus. You know what I mean? If you believe in Jesus, then we're one in Christ, as far as I'm concerned.
There you go. Joe, I want to get into our headline for the day. What are 3 words that can piss off your fiance?
I don't have a fiance.
If you had one, Joe. Let's be
3 words.
3 words that can piss off your fiance.
I can think of 3 letters, but I can't think of 3 words.
Well, I'm going to give you the 3 words that will piss off your fiance.
All right.
Bacon double cheeseburger. A man in the UK legally changed his name the other day to Bacon Double Cheeseburger, and his fiance was pissed. This story is coming straight out of FoxNews.com, who a man, ironically, with another famous name, Sam Smith, who just took home the Oscar last night. Sam Smith just legally changed his name to Bacon Double Cheeseburger. He was drinking when he did it, and it was the first thing he came up with, and his friends convinced him to do it. He said he has no regrets at all. When the interviewer said, "So what do your parents think?" and he wrote, "My mom was furious, but my dad thinks it's hilarious." He's more than happy to use my new name.
See, I think that sums up just about every stupid thing that a son could do. Mother is extremely angry about it. Father is extremely happy about it.
That would happen with both of our families. I can picture my mother and your mother being pissed off if we changed our names to Bacon Double Cheeseburger, but our fathers would find it hysterical.
Right. Absolutely.
By the way,
I'd be single by the end of the night if I ever called myself that.
After he sobered up, though, he still embraced his new identity, which I'm surprised they allowed him to change his name while he was intoxicated. But apparently, it's completely fine in the UK. Another person not too pleased with the name, though, apparently is they're saying Smith's fiance, but really it'd be Cheeseburger's fiance. He said, "My fiance is fairly reluctant about marrying a cheeseburger. That's something we're discussing a lot. No girl ever dreams of spending her big day marrying a man called Bacon."
I mean, think about how awkward that ceremony would be. Do you crispy chicken? What is it? Crispy burger?
Bacon? No. Bacon Double Cheeseburger. Get it right.
Bacon? Do you Bacon Double Cheeseburger take whoever so and so to be your lot? Like, no, come on. It'd be ridiculous.
By the way, apparently he signs off all of his work emails as BD Cheeseburger. Bacon Double Cheeseburger. which I just think is hysterical. You got to give this man credit here. I mean, he says he's got no regrets at all, and I hope he keeps the name. Honestly, I mean, you need people like this in your world to make a laugh. Now, Joe, if you were to change your name to any name, what name would it be, and why?
Any name at all?
Any name at all. You have no restrictions, and you're incredibly intoxicated.
Well, I would never be incredibly intoxicated, but let me think for a second. Is it first, middle, and last, or just first?
Yeah, so his first name is Bacon, his middle name is Double, and his last name is Cheeseburger.
Okay,
you can just give me first and last name if you want that.
Okay. I would change my whole name if I could to Eliyahu Obadjia.
Why is that funny?
It's not funny, but it's a really good name. It's Hebrew.
Well, Joe, this is a comedy podcast. I was kind of expecting something insane. Like,
fine. How's this? Okay. My first name would be Crispy. Oh, I'm sorry. My first name would be Chris. My middle name would be P, and my last name would be Bacon.
All right, fair enough. Chrissy Bacon. I have been thinking about that slam burger ever since you mentioned it a couple of episodes ago. So I'm just going to name myself. I have not tried it. I have not been down to Denny's yet. I know I have to go down to Denny's because just the idea of hash browns on my burger sound absolutely amazing.
It's not just hash browns. It was hash browns, eggs, and bacon.
I need to go down
with the option of hot sauce, but I didn't have the hot sauce on it.
I think I have to go down to Denny's and have this burger. I mean, my God, though. I mean, that just sounds incredible.
And it comes with fries.
My God. But I was looking, though, and you can substitute the fries for, like, tater tots. I'm like, that just sounds amazing. I'm like, I mean, how much weight, though, would you gain from that?
I gained about 5 pounds on that burger.
You gained 5 pounds just from eating that burger?
Something like that. Something definitely over 2 pounds in that one sitting.
Oh my God!
But I also had a regular Coke with me.
Oh my God, that's insane. Oh man. But so Joe, what would you so it's time for our recommendations. Joe, what would you recommend for our listeners this week?
That's a tough one. What would I recommend? You know, I mentioned it a few weeks ago. I mentioned the free version of SWOT Tour. I just recently bought the new expansion, Fallen Empire, Knights of the Fallen Empire. I've got to say, I really enjoy it so far. I would highly recommend it. You get jetpacks. You can blow stuff up. It's really good.
Fair enough. I would recommend the Simpsons movie. I just got it for a steal for $6 on Amazon. It's one of my favorite movies, and I just don't own it. So if you're out there today, please go out and buy the Simpsons movie on Blu-ray because it's a movie everyone needs to see. And anything with Leonardo DiCaprio in it as well. So, Joe, I think we should name this episode "The Academy is Not Racist" Part 2 because that's really what today's episode truly was.
I don't know. I would kind of like
Bacon Double Cheeseburger.
I could dig it.
We can name it something like All Hail Bacon Double Cheeseburger.
No. Well, we could name it the Slam Burger.
The Slam Burger, but we didn't really talk about the Slam Burger. I'm down for The Academy is Not Racist Part 2 All Hail Bacon Double Cheeseburger.
Let's go with the Academy Awards.
Fair enough.
And so, John, I want to propose something for our fans listening.
Okay.
All right. Let's do this. All right. Go. John.
This is the part of the show where Joe recommends something for our fans to do, and then our one listener doesn't do it, and then Joe cries at night. So, what is...
No, I'm sorry. This is more for you, John, than the actual listeners. But this is for the listeners too. Go down to Denny's, okay? Go grab yourself a Slam Burger, and I say next week we just talk about that Slam Burger for 45 minutes.
I think me and you should go out and get a Slam Burger and eat it while we're doing the podcast.
Okay, fans, you tell us. Do you want us to go out and get a Slam Burger and eat it while we do the podcast?
I am totally down to do that. I will go out and get that burger just to do this podcast.
You know what, John? I would do it too. Let's wait until I go down to the island, and we'll both grab one and go back
Dude,
to your house.
that's gonna take forever. Can we do it next week? Can we both get a slam burger and eat it together next week?
I'm stranded in school because I don't have a car, and the closest Denny's is like 2 towns away.
Does Denny's deliver?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, I hate you. Maybe I'll get a slam burger next week for me to eat. You can hear my live reaction to it for the first time.
Yeah, I would love to. I mean, it's so good. It's so worth it. It's so worth it.
Oh man, guys! But thank you guys so much for tuning in to the J&J podcast, episode number 7. I can't believe we made it to episode number 7, and we're just keep going. And trust me when I say we're doing plenty of things behind the scenes to get this podcast really off of its ground, so we can truly start making more and more episodes. We'll see you next Wednesday. Where every Wednesday at midnight, a new podcast is uploaded to iTunes and Stitcher and Podbean and all these crazy sites. But guys, thank you so much for listening. My name is John,
and I'm Joe.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, and I always want to say this at the end of our podcast. And as soon as we hit stop recording, I always forget. How would you feel if we ended each podcast with "Peace out, Cub Scout"?
Okay, ready on 3.
Okay, wait. My name is John.
And I'm Joe.
All right, we'll see you next week. Peace out, Cub Scout.
Yeah.